In this video, we will cover how to create simple and multi-agents using OpenAI Agents SDK. So let's directly jump into the code. We are going to get started from very scratch. So first thing what we have to do is set up our virtual environment. I'm on Windows, so I'm going to set up my virtual environment using this command, and my virtual environment name is going to be my-env. Once the virtual environment is created, over here we have to activate it. So I'm just going to activate it using this command, and now my virtual environment has been activated. So first package what we have to install over here is going to be OpenAI Agent SDK, and that we can install it using this OpenAI-agents command, and we will wait for installation to be completed. Now you can see this installation has been completed, so I will just clear it out and we can go ahead and start our development. I am just going to call it basic.py. We have to import our package agent. We can import it from agent package. So I'm going to create my first agent and I'm going to call it Python agent. We can create agent like this. Once you go to this method, you can see there are multiple properties that you can pass. As of now, because this is our first video in this particular series, so we are going to go ahead with the very basic thing. We just have to pass the name and instruction. We can pass name of this particular agent, and I'm just going to call it Python agent, and then I'm going to pass instructions. Instructions, you can treat it just like a system prompt, so you can let this particular agent know what is going to be its functionality. I'm just going to say you are an expert in Python programming language, and that's it. Now your first agent has been created. Now the next thing, how we are going to run this particular agent and pass our query. For that, we have to import another package, which is going to be runner package, and then we can call this particular package. You can see as soon as I print run, there are multiple options that I get. As of now, I'm going to just select the sing. You can also use the run, and I'm just going to pass my agent over here. So again, if you go to this particular method, then you can see we have to pass our starting agent, and then we have to pass our input. There are some more parameters over here, but let's just focus on these two. So my starting agent is going to be this particular agent, and then we have to pass our query. So I'm just going to ask how to handle exceptions in Python. We can just store it in a response variable, and we can just print the response. So under this response, we do have all this method that we can use it. I'm just going to say final output, which is going to give me the final output of the agent. One more thing you may have noticed, like I haven't put any OpenAI key explicitly over here because it has been set up in my environment variable. So if I go to my environment variable, you can see that I do have this key defined over here, and it will extract that particular key automatically from my environment variable. So I do not have to specifically mention over here. But if you don't have your key set up in the environment variable, then you have to pass OpenAI API key also in this case. Now let me just go ahead and try to run this code and see what response we get. You could see we have got a response over here. You can see in Python, exceptions are handled using try, except, else, and finally blocks, and here is the breakdown of how to use them. Then there is a basic exception handling, try, except, handling multiple exceptions, and using finally. So it has listed all the options, and we have got the output successfully. So now we have written our basic agent using this SDK. But one more thing what I wanted to highlight about this OpenAI Agent SDK, it comes up with default logging and tracing. Let me show you where exactly all this is getting traced. So we have to go to OpenAI website. I'm just going to go to openai.com, and now you have to go to API platform, and we can click on API login. Once you log in, then you can click on your dashboard. So here you can see the traces option. You could see today's date and time on which actually we triggered it. It's giving the execution time, and it is also telling me okay which particular agent I'm using, and this is a workflow. So if I click on this, then you could see like it has invoked this particular endpoint v1 responses, and if I just click on this, then you can see the number of tokens which has been used. We haven't explicitly mentioned any of the models in our code, so the default model which this particular OpenAI Agent SDK is using is going to be GPT-4o 2024. You could see the tokens over here, and then you can also see the instructions and the input which we have passed and the output which got generated. This is coming out of the box, and we haven't included anything on top of it to achieve it. So that's why this is going to be very useful. This would definitely help you to debug your agent very easily. Now let's go to our second use case. We will try to create a multi-agent. Let me just go ahead and name it Python agent, and now we are just going to create one more agent which we are going to call it Java agent. Let me just rename to Java, and I'm just going to call it you are an expert in Java programming language. Now what we want, based on the given query, the agent should automatically decide which particular agent it has to invoke. So how we can achieve it? So to achieve it, we are going to use another feature of this OpenAI Agent SDK, and which is called handoff. To achieve handoff, we have to create one routing agent. So I'm just going to call it routing agent, and this particular agent is going to help us to do the proper handoff to correct agent. So for this, we have to define our name and instructions. And I'm just going to pass the instruction you need to which agent to use based on the given query. And then after this, we have to give it a list of agent. For that, we are going to use handoff. So one agent is going to be Python agent and another is going to be our Java agent. So we have passed this particular agent as a list. If you have multiple agents, then you can also add that particular agent in the list itself. And now your routing or handoff agent has been created, which would help us to route the question to correct agent. And how this particular routing agent would know like which particular agent it has to use. So for that, we have to use another property under this agent. We have to pass our instruction in the handoff description so that this particular routing agent would know which particular agent it has to call it for the handoff. So we are just going to use this property, and we are just going to say specialist in Python programming language, and another instruction we have to pass it over here, which is going to be specialist in Java programming language. And now our setup has been created. Other thing what we have to do is, when we are going to run this, then we have to pass our routing agent name over here, because this is going to be our starting agent. So I'm just going to call it routing agent, and after that I'm just going to say how to handle exceptions in Java. And now it will be routing agent responsibility to route this particular query to this Java agent to get that answer. Okay, so let's go ahead and try to run this, and you could see we are able to get a response, and in this case the Java agent has been triggered. Similarly, we have got to know, okay, what are the different methods over here. Again, this is where the tracing feature is going to help us just to see, okay, which particular agent has been triggered. Based on the response, we can assume the Java agent has been triggered, but let's see on the portal. So again, we will go to this traces. In this case, there is another agent workflow has been triggered, and here you could see the flow also. So this particular flow is telling us, first of all, routing agent had been triggered, and then it has given handoff to Java agent. Now let's click on this, and if you focus over here, this particular endpoint has been triggered, and there has been a proper handoff where Java agent has been triggered to generate a response. And as you can see, in this case, out of these two, only this Java agent has been triggered. So that's why we are getting a tick mark in front of Java agent and not Python agent. You could see all the system instruction, whatever we have passed, and the input. There has been a function call which is transfer to Java agent, and same thing you can see at the top also, same default model has been used. The token is going to be this, and then the functions were these two. If I click on this, then you could see how this particular function schema has been created automatically. So there are a lot of things are happening under the hood in this particular SDK, and all that information we can retrieve it from this default integration of traces, which is going to be very helpful for the debugging. So that's how you can create your simple basic and multi-agent using OpenAI Agent SDK and see the log in the traces. We will cover rest of the features in our future videos. That's all what we have in this video. Thank you for watching.